Hi BookTube, I'm here today with my reading goals for 2024. I did the thing where I did 24 goals for 2024. A lot of it is maintenance from previous years, so things that I'm already hitting, but may need to be like tweaked a bit more, and goals that I don't want to forget about, that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to read them in whatever order they're written down on my sheet, and have at them. So the first is to study the Bible using resources. So when I say Bible study, for me, I get a lot out of learning about the more academic side of things, and I find that informs my faith in a personal way. That's just what I really like. So that is what I mean by resources for studying the Bible. All sorts of like maps and histories and I forget what the word is for, like, it tells you how, like, where the various words are used throughout the Bible, like all sorts of stuff. I finally feel like I'm ready to dive in and do that. I'm just gonna pick a book of the Bible and work on that. I'm not gonna worry about reading the whole Bible in a year. Second one, let me paraphrase this. I don't have a numerical goal for the year, but I do want to hit a certain amount of books at the same time, but I don't want to worry about it, so it's not an official goal. It's just kind of like, it'd be neat if I hit this number. The goal I want this year is to read for an hour every day. That's it. That's all I want to do. That's my numerical value for reading this year. I want to keep up with my reading journal. I made a reading journal for 2023 and I think I got to March and then I just didn't do anything with it since then. So I'm going to take you through my journal in another video, but I think simplifying a lot of the stuff that I was doing is hopefully going to help. The fourth goal is to finish one book from each of these series that I have made a priority. Just one book. Not the whole series, at least one book. If I do two, great. If not, also great. Just one book. So the first series is Redwall by Brian Jacques. Then I want to read another book from the Malazan series. The third series is the Crown of Stars series. And the last book in the last series is the Trickster series by Eden Robertson? I can't remember. Return of the Trickster is the last book in the series. I just really love Jared. He's like, I just want to wrap him in bubble wrap and just like put him to bed. And like that's all he wants to do. He just wants to chill. But like bad things keep happening to him. Okay. Goal number 5, I want to read 3 Vinyl Cafe diary books. So the Vinyl Cafe was created by Stuart McLean. He's a great Canadian. Unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago from cancer, but he had this radio show where he'd like play music and then he'd tell you these stories about Dave and Morley and their friends and their kids. And there's very like kind of like slice of life, mostly funny, sweet stories. And then I want to read 6 Discworld books. So I just want to continue on in the series. Okay. So this one is interesting. I've been maintaining around 50% BIPOC authors, but I want to change it this year. I want at least 25% of my authors to be BIPOC, but not from North America. So yeah. So I want to read more into the world. Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully I can accomplish that. That'll be fun to track. Here's another one I've been maintaining, 25% translations. But this time there's an addendum because that is really easy for me to hit because I love Japanese literature and I read a lot of manga too, so that kind of like bumped my numbers up. So I said this time translations are not going to include works translated from Japanese. So it's not going to deter me at all from reading Japanese literature. I already have like a bunch of mangas and Japanese literature that I want to read. But I want to aim for other countries, get more diverse there. This is a problem I had years ago, and I tried to rectify it, and I did a bit, and then I fell off the train again, and authors that I generally don't read from are Australian authors. So I want to read at least 3 books from Australian authors, and I want at least one of those authors to be an Australian Indigenous author. Goal number 10, I want to do a 30 book in 30 day challenge again. I don't think I've ever accomplished 30 books in 30 days. I might have, but I like the challenge of reading short books. 11, read 25% disabled authors. I think that's up 10% from last year because I hit it pretty easily this year. I also want to read 25% from LGBTQ plus authors, which is again just a little rise from last year as well. I want to use my library. I want to read between 2 to 5 books from the library each month. So a minimum of 2, a maximum of 5, not including comics. That does not include comics. I love the comics at the library, so there's a reasonable limit, but there's not a numerical limit. Just because I love the library. But I also don't want to get all my books from the library because, like, I have all these books here to read as well. Okay, 14, I want to read 25% nonfiction. I really fell off the nonfiction train this year, and I want to hop back onto it. 15 is a continuation of a goal that I've been doing, pretty well on, with an addendum added onto it. So I want to keep reading 1 book on religion each month, but at least 2 books in the year have to be about religions other than Christianity. Okay, number 16. I want to listen to 6 audiobooks. I used to listen to audiobooks a lot because my job required me to be in the car a lot. So I gotta figure out a way to work audiobooks back into my life. Number 17. This actually coincides with a personal goal too. We moved to a really nice place in New Brunswick, and our house is surrounded by nature and forests and streams, and even like going into town we have the St. John River and the green and lots of different parks, and I want to spend more time outside, so I want to read outside more. Number 16, not a book buying ban. I can't do that. That's just something I've tried. It's just not feasible for me. I want to be more intentional with buying books. I've been floating around this idea. It's not in stone yet, but I think it's probably what I'm going to aim to do, because I buy a lot of books from the thrift store, and so that's where a large part of my collection has come from, and I love discovering books that way. But I think for 2024, the idea is not the set in concrete goal. I'm going to try it out for a few months and see how it goes. Is if I want a book, I gotta pay full price for it. I gotta go to the bookstore and get the book. That's how I'm gonna be more intentional, and that will have me buying less books, hopefully. 19, I wanted to make a fun bingo board. This won't include any of my goals, and it's this kind of really random stuff. And it's not, I'm not going to win or lose anything. It's just kind of pure fun. I want to read 15% of books published before 1980. So I recategorized all my books recently, especially by genre, and I deleted the genre of classic because it didn't really fit. There were so many books that fit in like science fiction but were also classics, so why would I classify it as a science fiction when I should classify it as a classic, or why should I classify it as a classic when it should be science fiction? So I just said buy the classics as a categorization and pit everything into, other genres. 21, I want to read at least 50 comics. I think last year I'd said 60. I think I hit it, but just 50, at least 50. It's fine with me. Okay, 22, I want to read more of my fandom books. think there's Star Trek, Star Wars, Stargate, Doctor Who, Supernatural, and Batman. There's a Batman Nightfall novel that I'd like to read. So those are the 6 fandoms. 23rd goal is to do a deep dive into one poem or poet each month. I'm trying to read more poetry. I actually have a spot on my TBR game now that is, if I land on there, I have to read either a poem or a short story in order to continue moving on to playing the game. So that will help as well. So what that deep dive is up to me each month. You know, I think I had to read a poem from Robert Service. Oh, I didn't have to. I chose to read a poem by Robert Service for my Supernatural game. You'll see I landed on the spot. So I might just use that and what? Sorry, there is a poem in here I just saw called The Cow Juice Cure. I don't know. I knew he was weird, but I didn't know he was that weird. Cow Juice Cure. Anywho, so Robert Service might be, you know, I might just read 3-4 poems of his and consider that a deep dive. A deep enough dive. I want to explore more poetry. Other thing I want to explore for my last goal, I want to look more into different philosophies. And I chose 3 philosophies for 2024 and that I'm going to incorporate into my reading. The first is solipsism. I've been interested in solipsism for a long time. I don't believe in solipsism, but I'm interested in learning about solipsism. So this, the main guy who I'm interested in regards to this is Wittgenstein. I'll explain more when I go into this. I'm not going to explain the philosophy here because I also don't know too much about it. I want to learn more about these. The second one is integral theory, and this is The Theory of Everything by Ken Wilber is the book I'll be using to explore that. And lastly, I want to learn more about the Tao Te Ching, an Eastern philosophy. So yeah, that is it. Let me know what your reading goals are for this year, and thank you for watching.